Hello everyone, hope everyone's doing good today, and I hope that you all are getting everything done for this class that you're supposed to be doing. My name is Brandon Collier, and I want to speak with you today about the theory of psychosocial development and its creator, Erik Erikson. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use a PowerPoint presentation, kind of go with what I'm saying. I know we all learn in different ways, so I thought this kind of be a unique way so you can kind of see what's going on while I'm talking. Alright, here we go. Alright, so like I said, we're going to talk about the theory of psychosocial development. The founder of it was Erik Erikson, and how we're going to do this is we're going to kind of talk real briefly about what is it, get into the stages, like I said, real brief, and what they entail. And then at the end I have some questions and comments and some strengths and weaknesses of it and all that good stuff. So let's go ahead and get started with it. What is it? Basically, with the psychosocial theory, like I said, Erik Erikson developed it. And it's what he said, that personality develops in a series of stages that come from social experiences. These can be linked to life's key stages. Basically helps a person in their growth, in their personality, and development stages. And one thing to keep really in mind about this is each step builds on skills learned from the previous step. So they're basically like building blocks for one another. So what are they? What are the steps? Stage 1 is infancy, which could consist of birth to 1 year. Stage 2 is the toddler stage, which would be from 2 to 3 years old. The third stage would be the preschool age of 3 to 5 years old. The fourth is school age, or 5 to 11. Number 5 would be the adolescent years, or the teenage years, from 12 to 18. The sixth stage would be the adult stage, ranging from 19 to about 40 years of age. Number 7 would be the middle age adult, or 40 to 65 years old. And then the eighth stage would be the older adult, which is 65 to death. Alright, like we said, the infant stage is the first stage, and this is basically between birth and 1 year. This is the most fundamental stage, and this is where the infant is basically dependent on the caregivers for everything. This can include food, love, warmth, safety, all the nurturing that they need. And if this isn't provided for the child, then they really don't gain or grow and trying to develop that trust of adults. The main thing that Erik Erikson was really trying to get out of this, or the outcome of this, would be that children are just trying to develop a sense of trust from whoever's their caregiver. Alright, like I said, the second stage was the toddler stage. This is basically from 2 to 3 years old, and at this point in the development, they're starting to gain a little independence, excuse me. And they're starting to be able to perform basic actions on their own, like simple decisions, what they wear, what they eat, those kind of things. But the main point in this stage that Erik Erikson tried to get across is the independence through toilet training. So that's the vital part. And he believed that learning to control the body functions leads to a feeling of control and sense of independence. So basically the main outcome that he's trying to get from this is children just trying to develop that sense of personal control. The next stage we're going to talk about, or the third stage, would be the preschool age. This basically takes place from 3 to 5 years old, and this is where children begin to start asserting their power and control over their own world. This could be through directing their play, social interactions, but the main thing that Erik Erikson wanted you to get out of this, or out of this stage, would be that children need to begin asserting control and power over their own environment. The next stage, or the fourth stage, would be the school age child. This takes place from about the ages of 5 to 11, and this is when children begin to develop a sense of pride in their accomplishments and their own abilities. They also, if they don't receive any real encouragement from the parents, the teachers, the peers, they will doubt their abilities to be successful. The important event in this would be the school events. Because you know, at the age of 5, they basically start in preschool, trying to get introduced into that environment and get used to it. But the main thing that Erik Erikson wanted you to try to take out of this, the outcome of this, was that children need to cope with the new social and academic demands of starting school at the age of 5, getting used to it, and all that. Okay, the next stage that we're going to talk about is the adolescent stage, or the fifth stage. And this basically happens between 12 and 18 years old. And this is where children explore basically their independence and develop that sense of self that they have. Those who receive the proper encouragement through this, they can emerge with a strong sense of self and feeling of independence and control. This can lead to fidelity, which basically Erickson described as an ability to live by society's standards and expectations. The major outcome of this would be two things. One, the most important part would be the social relationships that they get. But the overall outcome is that teens need to develop a sense of self and personal identity. This is where they're really trying to find themselves. The next stage that we're going to talk about will be the adult stage. This is basically happens between 19 and 40 years old, and this is basically when people are exploring their personal relationships. Erickson believed that it was a vital part that people develop close, committed relationships with others. And in doing this, they could form relationships that are enduring and secure. But Erickson did believe that a strong sense of personal identity, remember that personal identity goes back with the adolescent years, was important for developing that intimate relationship. Studies have shown that basically people with a poor sense of self tend to have those less committed relationships and ultimately end up feeling more isolated and alone and basically having depression and being more depressed. The major outcome of this, just the overall, is that success leads to strong relationships and failure results in loneliness and isolation. The next stage will be the middle age, adult stage, or the seventh stage. This stage focuses on career and family. This is between the ages of 40 and 65, and those who are successful during this phase will feel they are contributing to the world. This could be through giving to their community. This could be through activities in their home, children, giving back to the world. Those who fail to attain this skill feel they are unproductive and uninvolved in the world. The important part of this one would basically be the work and parenthood. The overall outcome that they're looking for is adults need to create or nurture things that will outlast them. Like I said, this would be children, creating a positive change in the world, something of that nature. The last stage that we're going to look at is the older adult stage. This happens between 65 years old and death. This is basically when people look back at their lives and they reflect. Are they happy with what they've done? Do they regret anything they did, or do they regret anything they didn't do? Things of that nature. Those who feel unsuccessful during this stage will feel that their life has been wasted. If they feel like they've been successful, they'll show a pride or feel a pride of their accomplishments. So basically the important events to take away from this is basically the reflection on life. And the ultimate outcome that Erickson talks about would be older adults just need to look back on their life and feel a sense of fulfillment. Okay, so now what we're going to do is look at the strengths and limitations of this theory. And basically this theory provides a broad framework. This allows somebody to view development through the entire lifespan and not just at one specific point through the lifespan. It also allows us to emphasize the social nature of human beings and the important influence that social relationships have on the development of a person. The limitations of this theory, they kind of go hand in hand with the two that I put down here. But how does one person move from this one stage to the next? It doesn't really say. Like I said, it's not specific enough. It's the second one. They kind of go hand in hand. This really doesn't get real specific. It's a more broad range theory. So here's my question to you. What are your thoughts? Do you agree with this theory? Do you agree that development occurs in a series of stages through social experiences? How can all this help a teacher? I am curious to see what you guys have to say. My personal opinion is that I do agree with this theory for the most part. Like the limitation states that it doesn't get real specific in how people move, or my other question is, can the age range change? I do feel that sometimes maybe an older adolescent, 16, 17, even 18 years old, they may act more mature and they may be able to move into that young adult stage a little quicker, or vice versa, because of things that, or events that have happened in their life. So like I said, I am interested to see what you guys have to say, and I look forward to a good discussion with you.